After one of our longest flights to date, leaving from Denver International and landing at Tokyo's Narita Airport, Danielle and I touched down on mainland Japan for 10 days of food, trains, shrines, and absorbing a culture previously unknown to us. But as always on our vacations, one of the driving forces for traveling to Japan was our running. There will be more videos to come regarding the non-running portions of our trip, but for now, sit back while we discuss our 2024 Tokyo Marathon. We left Denver on Wednesday morning around 11:30 a.m. and touched down in Tokyo after crossing the international date line at 4 p.m. on Thursday for a 13-hour flight time, yet a 28-hour time difference. Due to the beautiful world of jet lag, we were wide awake around 3:30 a.m. So we decided to go for an early morning shakeout run in beautiful Shinjuku Chuo Park, which was immediately next to our hotel. And then we decided to take our first excursion on the JR line, one of Japan's many train systems, to the Tokyo Marathon Expo. There will be a later video on how to navigate their system, but just know for now that their train system is significantly easier than a lot of people make it out to be. Don't be intimidated by it. The Expo opened promptly at 10 a.m., and despite being there 30 minutes before it opened, there were still a couple hundred people already in line ahead of us.
So we got to the Expo pretty early, about 15-20 minutes before it started. Thus far, we're extremely glad we're on some of the first 20 or so people to actually be let in. And by the time that it actually opened up, the line was about all the way down the bridge. That was probably about almost half a kilometer long. Pretty aggressive. First things first, get here as early as you can if you're able to. We're excited to see if it actually pays off for us. It may not, but we will find out. So an update to what I just said. I mentioned that we were some of the first to come up there. There was actually already a line up here. Probably a couple handful of hundred people ahead of us. So the concept of waiting in lines is absolutely already going to be a true proposition. So get here early.
We walked into the expo room, which was similar in appearance to Chicago's McCormick Place, less historic though than Berlin's Tempelhof Airport Expo site, where we snagged our bibs and then made our way to the second room of the expo where the major vendors were. As the primary sponsor, ASICS had the largest booth, but holy whoa, it was overwhelming with people and underwhelming with anything else. This was the second day of the expo, so we certainly weren't the first to get a shot at any of the merchandise, but being that we were some of the first to go in on day 2, we expected there to be something that we'd be able to snag. However, the only sizes of any apparel that was left were 2XL and 3XL, so if that's your size, you're in luck. But if it isn't, it's probably not worth pushing through the crowds. We had heard ahead of time that this is largely how the Japanese like to operate. They would rather err on the side of not making enough merchandise than err on the side of making too much and anything going to waste. With this in mind, multiple months prior to the trip, I hopped onto Etsy and found a tremendous site who makes World Marathon Major iron-on patches for sale. We bought a handful of these for ourselves. That way we were able to buy any type of shirt, jacket, or backpack that we wanted and simply iron on the patches. That way, while this isn't technically an official merchandise shirt, I was able to grab this sweet jacket from Lulu, a color that's only available in Japan right now, and simply iron this on, and it looks just as official as anything else. After the main hall, you're taken downstairs by escalator to the secondary expo hallway, which was largely dedicated to other races, as well as what we came for, the charity slot exhibitions. We were lucky enough to get selected for the Peace Wanko charity, and while most charities I've run for in the past give a shirt to race in, they essentially just wanted a high five at the expo and our charitable donation, of course. And that was the extent of our obligations. It couldn't have been an easier process. This is how Danielle and I entered, and given the chance, this is exactly how I would go about doing it again. What's interesting about this route is that the charity's drawing is done before the general ballot opens, as opposed to other marathons like Chicago, London, New York, where the drawing is done after the general ballot. For Tokyo, there is a 2-week open period at the end of June where you select a specific charitable organization that you are bidding for, and you are only allowed to bid for one and only one charity. There is a minimum bid amount, usually around 100,000 yen or $670 at the time of this recording. However, there are 2 big things to keep in mind. Some of the charities are only open to Japanese citizens, and number 2, if there are more applicants for a given charity than slots available, they will only select the highest bids for acceptance, so bid wisely. Now, there are a number of benefits for going this route over the general ballot route. First, you know that you're in before the general ballot even opens. So not only do you not have to deal with the extremely low acceptance rates, but you also have the ability to book your flights and hotels much earlier than others who go the ballot route. You'd think that wouldn't matter as much in a city the size of Tokyo. However, the day that the ballot actually was released, we looked up the flight prices that we had already booked, as well as the hotel prices that we again had already booked. And turns out the money that we spent by getting into the charity itself counteracted the money that we would have had to spend by the higher flight and hotel fees, to the point where we actually saved money by being able to book everything before the ballot was even released.
All right, it is 5:30 Sunday morning, March 3rd, Tokyo Marathon Day. That would be 1:30 p.m. Denver time. I've been up since 3:45 roughly. Danielle got a little more sleep than I was able to get, but it is Tokyo Marathon 2024 day. We are ready to go as we could possibly be, I guess. Maybe. Neither of us are really racing, so we're just kind of running and enjoying the city and just winging it. Why not? Have we done much of the carb loading that we normally do? I wouldn't say so. At all, not even close. Typically we're doing the Megan Featherston carb calculator, 600 plus carbs a day, that kind of thing. We've just eaten ramen and tsukemen and just whatever we've come across. This is the dumplings were great. Yeah. This has just been an eating and touring race for us. So not racing the race. What are your expectations for the run today, Danielle?
Just to have fun and finish. Yeah, this is World Major star number 3 for the both of us. So just finishing, enjoying the city. I think that's really the goal for us. This morning, though, we are going to eat a little bit of carbs because, I mean, why not? First off, I mean, it's a great excuse to do so. So we went to the grocery store last night and got a whole bunch of these. Grocery store, it was a 7-Eleven, a little conveni. Got a whole bunch of these. This one's actually pretty normal, quote unquote, to us. Obviously, everything's normal other than here. little Danish. That one's also pretty straightforward, no problem there. They got little pancakes, maple and margarine pancakes, just straight up pancakes inside the store in a little package. Everything comes in these little individual packages. What do we have over here? This one's just scones, just standard scones. And then just some standard butter scones. So nothing too exciting on this front. When I was in there, there were still plenty of breakfast options that were curries and fried pork breakfast pastries. First off, they looked awesome. We had one yesterday and they tasted awesome.
They're great.
They were awesome, but maybe not race day morning. So we kind of passed on that. Got my tailwind going, or excuse me, no, this is a Martin. We're doing a Martin here. Gonna get a little few in us. One of the beauties of this race is that it starts at 9:10 a.m.
Yeah.
9:10, which is great. And most of them start at like 7 something in the morning. So waking up at 3 or whatever gives us plenty of time to get everything taken care of, get some coffee in us if we so want to, and then let things digest. So pretty excited about that.
With our hotel immediately adjacent to the start, we were able to casually walk across the street, through the park, and into the starting corral area. The starting area has 2 levels to it, with the backdrop being on the bottom tier and the starting corrals leading you to the top tier. And while there are a few ups and downs on stairs, in true Japanese fashion, everything is extremely well marked and there are plenty of kind volunteers willing to help you out. Don't let the small amount of infrastructure get to you, just follow the easy signs and you'll get to where you need to be. Congested as can be, but we're running. Let's go. Unlike some of the other larger races like Paris, where there are plenty of corrals where they will release small portions of each corral at a time, the Tokyo start appeared to be just a single release of everyone all at once, resulting in the first handful of miles being quite congested. Alright, today's strategy is just go out and have fun. No pacing goals, no timing goals. Sub 4 I guess would be cool. But today's strategy is we're gonna shoot a lot of video, brought an extra battery pack for it, and we're just gonna have fun enjoying the streets of Tokyo. Despite the congestion, especially once you hit the straightaway heading east through the Golden Gai district, the pace never seemed to suffer. Around 5.8 miles in, you hit a left-hand turn leading you to the first of the ever-present switchbacks. The first switchback is quite short in comparison to the others, being only 0.8 of a mile in each direction, which is somewhat of an easy introduction into them as they soon get to be much longer. While separated by only cones in the middle of the street, I initially thought that the switchbacks would be a problem, something pretty unsightly even, but
being that the streets are so wide on each side, this wasn't the case at all. Having lived in Chicago for many years previously and now in Denver, I'm quite comfortable with the sight of a steady flow of people. However, walking the city of Tokyo takes this to another level, being that it's the largest city in the world, and I felt that seeing a constant flow of runners on the switchbacks was rather symbolic of the people of the city. You hit the second switchback beginning around 8.5 miles into the race, and this is the big one, lasting from 8.5 to 20.1 miles. However, this one also has somewhat of a switchback within a switchback, going from 12.3 miles to 17.8. I can't stress this enough though, that this aspect of the race is both omnipresent and invisible all at the same time. Kind of like noise canceling headphones, you forget that they're even there, allowing you to remember that you're running in one of the most amazing countries in the world. Another benefit of the switchbacks is the opportunity to see the elites passing on the other side. With Eliud Kipchoge in the field, we were all really hoping to get a glimpse of him running by, hopefully in the lead. However, immediately before passing the switchback within the switchback, I was able to get a glimpse of the 3 leading males, including eventual winner Benson Kipruto, then in second. However, no Kipchoge to be seen.
All right, running with my new friend here from LA. Introduce yourself.
I'm Daika. I'm German originally. My 6-star.
6-star, that's
Having
what's
the
up.
time of my life.
How does this one rank for you compared to the others?
I don't know yet. Ask me mile 23.
That's reasonable.
So far, it's up there.
Prior to this one, what's your favorite other than Tokyo?
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I'm German, so Berlin Marathon is.
Berlin was great.
You know,
I'm rocking my Berlin shirt now.
London was my 5th. That was the first ABBA championship, and we waited for it for so long.
After the second switchback, the course heads back south through the wide streets of Ginza, one of Tokyo's largest shopping districts, before hitting the third and final switchback. It should be noted that immediately as you start this set of switchbacks, you'll see on the right-hand side of the road that goes towards the finish line, a sign that says 1 kilometer to go. Be aware that this sign and this turn are not for you just yet. You hit the switchback at mile 21.2, meaning that you still have 5 miles or 8 kilometers to go. Some people in the course discussed how this was kind of heartbreaking and discouraging to see, but as long as you go into the race knowing that it's going to say this and that you will see it, you're gonna be good. Up until this point, I had been running significantly better than I had expected going into the race, hitting the final switchback in under 2 hours and 40 minutes. I didn't really have high goals for the race, but now that I was running so well, I didn't want to give it all back. This is, however, where my pace did start to suffer, falling back from about the 7:30s per mile that I had been able to sustain to now about 7:50s to 8 minutes per mile. The grind and now the sun were kind of starting to become real for me. The sights of the Tokyo Tower on this stretch were quite reminiscent of passing Paris's Eiffel Tower just 11 months previously, providing great memories and motivation from another race through another beautiful part of the world. Again, all this did was make me want to run and travel even more. Finishing the final switchback, you make the left-hand turn onto the narrow cobblestones, and then you see the 1 kilometer to go sign, and this time it is for you. I made sure not to empty the tank just yet, but once you reach the final turn near Tokyo Station, now's the time to go ahead and give it your final push. I crossed the finish line in 3 hours, 22 minutes, and 13 seconds. Not all too bad for going into this race with no expectations.
Let's go. 3:22. Let's go. All right, y'all. Done with the Tokyo Marathon 2024. what an awesome experience this one was. Could not have asked for better weather, could not have asked for a better course, could not have asked for nicer people on the course. Volunteers were absolutely amazing. Everyone cared about the runners, the environment. It could not have been a better experience. Danielle's finishing up strong now. Once we meet up with her when she finishes, we are going to celebrate this one. 3 stars down in the World Marathon Major Series. Can't wait to go get London, New York, and someday Boston. And as we know, maybe even Sydney in there as well, if that makes it in there. And when it does, whether it's before or after we get the 6, we're just gonna turn it into 7 at that point. We have the rest of tonight and all day tomorrow here in Tokyo before we make our way down on the Shinkansen, the bullet train, to Kyoto, where we're gonna spend a couple of days in Kyoto, then take the train on down to Osaka for 2 more days, back up here to Tokyo before making our way back to the States. Could not love this experience anymore. If you have a chance to go to Tokyo, absolutely make the effort, take the time, go to Tokyo. It is potentially my favorite city in the entire world at this point. We are going to soak up some sakemen, some ramen, some udon, whatever it may be after this. Can't wait to put this video together for everybody and for ourselves and for someday for Nellie to see. That's obviously one of the biggest things. We want her to see that this world is huge, it's awesome, but it's also small and the people are amazing in it. And if there's one thing Tokyo has done, it's shown us that the people are absolutely amazing in this world. So follow along as we go on our next steps of this trip and also all the other trips that we have coming up, not limited to just the upcoming summer where we are doing Leadville. Stay tuned for more of that. Arigato. 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 Number 3, Tokyo. Oh, thank you. Arigato.